Hello and welcome to today's Rocksmith developer stream. I am your host and the community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. Thank you for being here. Once again, we are doing an at-home edition, so these are all pre-recorded segments, but we will be live in the chat with you to take your questions, do some raffles, have some giveaways. It's going to be fun. Today we're looking at the Opeth song pack. That's 3 massive songs from an often requested band, Opeth. They are a first-timer. This is their first time in the Rocksmith library, and we are incredibly excited to have them along. Today we are just doing those 3 Opeth songs. We're not going to have a bonus track because with just those 3 Opeth songs alone, we're looking at well over half an hour of music straight from the game. So we're just going to stick with those 3 songs. We're still going to visit some of our staff in their homes, see what they're up to, see if they have any advice for us. All that's coming up. We're still doing giveaways, including the Ernie Ball prize pack and some song pack giveaways, including this Opeth song pack that we'll talk about later. Right now, let's take a look at Opeth.
To see a beloved son in despair of words to come.
And there are your 3 songs from Opeth. Let's get right into it since we are going to take a lot of time in these songs. Right now, we are going to visit somebody on our team. We're going to visit David Stevens, our QAzar. He is in his home studio office music making location. I don't know what he calls it. It's just where he made the video. But he is going to play Ghost of Perdition for us. Right after that, we are going to visit Brian Shu's home studio for a new lick of the week. After that, we will do some giveaways. We'll have some more songs. And as always, we are in the chat with you right now to take your questions, even though the rest of this is being pre-recorded. So here is David Stevens with Ghost of Perdition.
Hey everyone, David Stevens here, QA supervisor at Ubisoft Studio SF. And today I'm going to play Ghost of Perdition by Opeth for you guys. This is a pretty epic song. It's about 11 minutes long, and it's in an open D minor tuning. Lots of action going on. The song moves around a lot, doesn't keep you in one place too long. Pretty stoked to be able to bring you guys these songs. Been working for this pack for a long time. It's no secret. Opeth is my favorite band. So yeah, let's get into it. Shout out to our note tracking team for killing it as always, and our licensing, production, and QA folks. And shout out to you, the community. You know, you guys let us do this, and we love to do it for you. Take care of each other out there. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Rise
Hey y'all, it's another lick of the week. This one's a really common shreddy A minor pentatonic lick. Sounds a little something like this. Let's do that again. It's kind of Eric Johnson sounding. Let's go over that really slow. So it's going to be groupings of 6. So each beat will have 6 notes in it. We're going to start with the 8th fret, go down to the 5th fret on the E string, and then the 8th fret and 5th fret on the B string, and then the 7th and 5th fret on the G string. So that's your first group of 6. And then we're going to go back up to the B string, play 8 and 5, 7 and 5 on the G string, and then 7 and 5 on the D string. So that's our second group of 6. So when we put that together, it sounds like this. And then the third group of 6 is 7 and 5 on the G string, 7 and 5 on the D string, and then 7 and 5 on the A string. And then we're going to shift down and hit the 3rd fret on the A string. So that's a grouping of 6 plus a C. Cool. So playing all of that together, it sounds like this. And if you haven't noticed by now, it's in your Pentatonic blues box. So the cool thing about this lick is you can alternate pick every single note. I like to start with an upstroke because it makes switching between strings a lot easier. I go up, down, up, down, up, down. Every time I go to the next string, I'm already coming up in the same direction as where my fingers are headed on the string to the next string. Or you could use hammer or just pull-offs. You could just do pick, pull off, pull off, pull off. So that would sound like this. Something like that. Cool. So that's a quick and easy one. You'll hear that a lot. It's a very common lick. So try it out. Do it in different positions. Explore. And see you next time.
And thank you once again to David Stevens and Brian Shu for sending us those videos. A lot of people are coming together, both in the community and in the studio, to get these streams together, and I appreciate all of them, all of you, so very much. Right now, we are going to have our first Ernie Ball prize pack giveaway of the stream. If you enter and win, you can win everything that you currently see on your screen. You're looking at 2 sets of strings from Ernie Ball, 1 6-string set for your guitar, 1 4-string set for your bass. You will get a package of Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes. You're going to receive a black Ernie Ball guitar strap, as well as a dozen Ernie Ball picks, and along with 3 picks from us here at Rocksmith. And you'll get a peg winder from Ernie Ball. All of that, everything that you see on your screen, can be won. Once again, since we are doing these streams from home, we're not currently at the office. We will be able to send those out as soon as we are back in the office, but I do not have a date for that yet. Just hopefully soon. Hopefully we'll be able to get those prizes out to you one way or another. But for now, we appreciate your patience. And please listen for a whisper from UB Jurassic. If you are the lucky winner, he will reach out and get your name, your shipping address, and your telephone number. We do need all that information in order to get that to get your prize to you. So please look for that whisper and get that to us as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. Coming up right now, we are going to visit a new face for the Rocksmith stream. We are going to say hi to Best Fenton, who has recorded Blackwater Park for us. Best Fenton records guitar tracks for YouTube, I believe weekly, pretty regularly. He's in there sending those out, and he is playing Blackwater Park for us. Right after that, we are going to visit Andrew Levin in his home studio once more, and he's going to talk about tone when you are recording. So let's take a look at those, and I'll be back right after that.
Hey everyone, My name is Stephen Fenton, and if you've seen my videos on YouTube before, you might know me better as Best Fenton. I am stoked to be on the Rocksmith livestream today, playing what I believe is now the longest song in the Rocksmith library. Rocksmith has had a huge influence on my life. I've been playing since the original came out in 2011. It's inspired me to learn about audio DSP and processing. I've taken jobs in creative music because I was so interested in the area, and it's engaged me with a ton of cool people in the community who I still talk with on a weekly basis. I used to hang around the IRC room a lot, and now I'm mostly just hanging around in the Discord channel, so if you ever want to say hi, give me a shout. And now, here's Blackwater Park by Opeth.
Amazing performance.
So yeah, that was Blackwater Park. Definitely a little bit of an arm killer, but that's all right. It's a super fun song to go ahead and play through. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the stream, and hopefully I will see you around on YouTube, Discord, or Twitter. Have a good one.
What's up, everybody? Andrew Levin here, and today we have Tuesday's tone tips, or today's tone tips. I recorded it on Tuesday, so I'm thinking about it on Tuesday, but you're going to be watching this on a Thursday, but it's still Tuesday to me, so doing tips of tone on Tuesday for you to listen to Thursday. So I put together this little lick for you and figured I'd break down what I did and how you can kind of get a little bit more of a big guitar tone from maybe just one guitar part, so take a listen. So it just repeats. We don't have to listen to that whole thing again. And I want to also briefly mention before I go into any of this stuff that this will work on any DAW that you want. It's just some concepts that I am talking about. And so if you have GarageBand, it'll work. That's free if you have a Mac. Or if you are messing with Audacity, Pro Tools, Reaper, Cubase, all the big Ableton, all the big DAWs, this will work, and also a lot of the different plugins that come with those DAWs, this will work. So my first tone tip, and this is something that I wish that somebody had told me like 10 years ago because it would have changed my mixes, is to cut the low end from your reverbs, right? So I have this guitar part going into this little plate reverb. This is a Sound Toys plugin I really like. So I took the low cut off of the guitar parts too, so you could hear this a little better. But let's listen to, here's what it sounds like with no low cut going through the reverb. And that is muddy to me. So here's what it'll sound like if I then cut all the low end from that reverb. So I don't know if you notice, but it just sounds a little bit more shimmery, and you can hear the punch a little bit more. And it makes a bigger difference when you have a lot of tracks going into a reverb for a given song. But I learned about this a couple years ago, and it just completely changed the way that my mixes sounded. So again, here's without the low cut, and I also re-EQ'd the guitars. So here's with low cut and without it. Underwater, nice and airy. So that's my first tone tip. Second tone tip, you may notice that you can really only hear one guitar part, but I have 3 guitars recorded. Guitar 1, Guitar 3, and Guitar 2. I actually played it 3 separate times with different tones and kind of put them together. So Guitar 1 by itself is a clean tone. Guitar 3 is distortion. And then Guitar 2, this is kind of not really that necessary. It's really quiet. I just kind of added it in there to fill a little bit extra space. And so you may notice that Guitar 3 is panned almost all the way to the right. And what that means is that it's mainly coming out of your right speaker. And Guitar 1's panned most of the way to your left, which means it's mostly panned out of your left speaker, or coming out of your left speaker. So why is this something that you want to do? Well, when you're seeing a show, if you see a good power trio playing, it's just guitar, bass, and drums, you're going to be hearing a lot of different vibrations and reflections coming across the room, which is going to make it sound bigger. So even though the guitar player may have his or her amp at one part of the stage, you're hearing it bounce off the walls, which means you may be hearing it from the left and the right, and there's a tiny bit of delay between that. They're not hitting you at the same time, and so as a result, it just sounds like it's coming from all around you, at least if you have good sound at a venue. So the way that I like to simulate that is by recording two different guitar parts, panning them to the left and right, playing them just a little bit differently so it sounds like it's hitting your ears at a little bit of different time, and then the sound kind of envelops you a little bit. Another way you can do that is recording the same guitar part, but then panning one to the left and one to the right and staggering them by maybe 20 or 30 milliseconds, and that's something that you can kind of play with as well. The final thing I would like to talk about is I'm sending all of these into a bus. A bus is kind of like a musical funnel where you have the whole music picture, and then you're sending all of them into one, the whole music picture meaning the whole song, whole mix, and you're sending all of the guitars into one smaller space, which is the bus right here. And what the bus does is it basically just processes all of the guitars in the same way. So if I play it, if I turn up and down the volume, it's going to affect all of them. If I turn the reverb on and off, it does it for all of them. And importantly, I have a compressor here. And a compressor is going to turn up all of the quiet parts of the recording and turn down all of the loud parts of the recording to even things out. And compression is a very long and it's a very involved thing. And if you guys are interested in compression and you guys like this tutorial, then I can do another one of these next week. I don't want to go too into compression because I can rant about that for a long time. But point being, if you're going to record a bunch of different guitar parts and play them at the same time, putting a compressor at the end of the signal chain is just a nice way to kind of glue everything a little bit together and make it sound nice and cool. So before we go, I just want to play you the guitar part, and then I want to play you all of the individual guitar parts by themselves with the band, so you can hear what a difference it makes when you put them together, pan them, and then put some compression on. So here's the main part again. Sorry. So here's just guitar 1. It's not bad, but it sounds way more thin. Here's just guitar 3, distorted guitar. Again, not bad, but it just sounds very one-dimensional. And guitar 2. And then here's them together. It still sounds like one guitar, but they're all being fed together in such a way that sounds bigger, more professional. Cool. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, I'll be taking a look at the chat either live or later. So thank you.
And welcome back to the Rocksmith Developer Stream. I remain your host and community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. We are once again putting forth an at-home edition. I'm in my home right now. Everyone else that you see today are recording either the songs or the segments that you're going to see from their homes. Speaking of which, I want to say thank you very much to Andrew Levin for taking the time to help us with our home recording, and to Best Fenton for playing through Blackwater Park. Best Fenton posts YouTube videos with Rocksmith pretty regularly. His channel on YouTube is Best Fenton, so you can find him there, and Twitter I'm sure we'll see in the chat as I'm talking. Right now, let's go ahead and give away 5 copies of this week's Opeth song pack for Steam. That will be in chat. UB Jurassic will lead you through that raffle, and 5 of you will receive this week's song pack on Steam here in the next few minutes. Right now, let's take a look at our next and final player for the day, because again, we are just doing the 3 Opeth songs because they are incredibly long, and we all have places, well, we're where we're going to be, but we have work to do, so we're going to cut it a little bit short and just stick with the 3 songs this week. So here is Elliot Rudner, aka Toy Machine SH. You will know as the driving force behind theriffrepeater.com. He will be performing Bleak. Right after that, we are going to visit Dan Emmerich's place one more time to see his wonderful wall of weird guitars. I'm going to shorten that title because honestly at this point I'm kind of tired of saying it. But let's take a look at those 2, and we'll be back right after that. Here's Toy Machine.
Oh, hello there.
I'm Elliot, the less talented member of the Riff Repeater. I've been listening to Opeth since 2003. My friend actually got into them around the same time he got into Emperor, and we used to work night shift at a hockey arena. We'd blast Blackwater Park and Deliverance throughout the hockey arena all night. The second time I got to see Opeth was actually at Sounds of the Underground, a music festival. I actually had the opportunity to meet them, and they even signed my Blackwater Park CD. All of them were there except for Martin Lopez, who wasn't feeling very well that day. Shortly after, he actually left the band due to health issues. But as you can see, I got to meet Michael Ackerfeld and took the greatest picture ever, for the time, with a flip phone. Heavy Toronto 2011 was actually the first time I got to try Rocksmith due to a promotional tent. And funnily enough, that was also a concert that had not only Megadeth, but also Opeth as well. During their last tour with The Sword, I actually had the opportunity once again to meet Michael, and I got a much better picture of him, thankfully, due to technology and, other people. It's been a long journey with Rocksmith. In 2011, talking about Opeth in that interview,
as much as I wanted to see Opeth and Megadeth, I also wanted to play Rocksmith.
To actually getting the opportunity to play 3 of their songs in the library. And after 1,500 songs, Rocksmith is still going strong. Thanks for all the support, everyone, and keep on shredding.
top-notch performance.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dan's Wonderful Wall of Weird Guitars. And this week I'm answering the question that we all ask ourselves. What is my ultimate guitar? Most of us never find it. Most of us want to buy 5 or 10 guitars before we feel like we found the right one. Or maybe there is no one guitar that does everything that you want to do. I feel very fortunate in that I believe I have found the guitar that is better than all of my others and that does everything I've ever wanted a guitar to do. And it, again, took me 20 years, but I believe that guitar is this red ESP XJ6. Now, this is called an XJ6. It's a pun, sort of. It's a joke about both Fender and cars. The XJ6 is a famous Jaguar automobile. At the same time, this offset body design was pioneered by Fender for the Fender Jazzmaster and the Fender Jaguar. So this is ESP giving a little wink and a nod to their inspiration, but the rest of it is nothing like a Jaguar and nothing like a Jazzmaster. Beyond the awesome sparkle finish, which was an option in the late 90s when these guitars were made, but was not as common as sort of a see-through transparent finish so that you could see the wood grain. It's a hardtail, so no tremolo. I play rhythm guitar, so therefore I'm happy with hardtails. But it has 2 mini humbuckers. Now tonally, I love single coils, but sometimes they can sound thin, and I love humbuckers, but sometimes they can sound muddy. I kept searching for a sound that I was hearing in my head that was the perfect combination of both of those things. These are humbuckers, 2 coils slaved together, but because they are smaller and they are closer together, the sound is tighter and brighter. I didn't know it until I found this guitar, but that is the sound I was looking for all my life. So these are Seymour Duncan SM3s. These came stock. This was Seymour's version of the classic Firebird, Gibson Firebird pickup. Sometimes mini humbuckers would show up on Epiphones. They showed up on Les Paul Deluxes that Pete Townsend used in the 70s as well. So this is not the kind of thing that you normally find on guitars. It is a specialist pickup. I made it even more special by going crazy and adding sparkle knobs that somehow match the finish of this factory guitar. I got these from Zentric Guitars. They have a store on Amazon. They also have a matching switch. So I just figured that was the ultimate for me. There's also this little toggle switch that you'll see between the knobs. That is a combination, that is a 3-way toggle selector switch for the wiring. So these are in parallel series and also a single coil split. The single coil split, basically I never use because I love the sound of these humbuckers. So I get a nice, bright, tight sound. I get my jangle that I'm always looking for. But then when I add on a little dirt, it stays nice and crisp. I love that. That is the sound I've always looked for. I like the feel of the neck. The neck has a nice C-shaped profile, a little bit shallow, right where I like it to be. I admit that one day I went to Warmouth's website and built a dream guitar and thought, what would I make if I could make anything? And I basically made this guitar without the reverse headstock. The reverse headstock is very late 90s, very Japanese guitar. What are you going to do? So I've gotten used to that. That's the only thing on this entire guitar that's any different from what my actual dream guitar was that I tried to build on Warmouth. Now, to make it more interesting, you gotta kind of find yourself in a place when you're a guitar nerd where you go, what happens if my favorite guitar goes away? Like, now that I found the one, how can I go any further? So I kind of had to track down another one. So I found one on Reverb for a really good deal. Somebody had it under their bed and said, I just don't play it very much. The interesting thing is that I did the same modifications to it, but it also came with Seymour Duncan pickups, except a completely different set. These are more based with a vintage sound. The neck is an SM1 and the bridge is an SM2. The SM2 is a ceramic magnet in there, so it's hotter, more aggressive sound. So they actually sound different enough to me that I can appreciate that. It may not matter to other people, but you know, it helps me justify having 2 of the same guitar because they don't sound the same. So to just make it extra nerdy, I did name the red one Jessica for her sparkly red curves. And then when I got the blue one, well, that had to be Cinderella. So it's Cindy and Jess are my 2 ESPs. I love them dearly. And I can honestly say that I don't need the rest of these guitars. I found the ones that really speak to me more than anything, and I hope that one day you will find your perfect guitar, no matter how weird or sparkly it may be. That's it for this week. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Back to the show, and hey, did you change your strings?
Hey everyone, it's Brian Turner, but you probably know me better as UB Jurassic. I'm your community manager for Rocksmith. Before we say goodbye today, let's go and have an Ernie Ball prize pack giveaway. You can enter to win everything you see on the screen right now. That includes 2 sets of strings, 1 6-string set for your guitar, a 4-string set for your bass. You can enter to win a pack of Wonder Wipes to keep your guitar minty fresh. You can win a black Ernie Ball guitar strap, a dozen picks from Ernie Ball, and 3 of our Rocksmith Spectrum Plectrums. Currently, we are not in the office, but we'll be looking to send out those prizes as soon as we return. We don't know when that's going to be. We don't have a definite date, but we'll be looking to get that out to you guys as soon as possible. If you don't know how to win, go ahead and look for the messages from UB Jurassic. He'll tell you how to get entered to win. That's me. And if you do win, expect a whisper from UB Jurassic. And when you do get that whisper, be sure to provide him with your name, your shipping address, and your phone number so that we have all the information we need to be able to get that out to you as soon as possible. All right, that's it for the Ernie Ball prize pack giveaway. I'm going to throw this back to Doug. I'll talk to you guys later.
And that is it for our stream today. I want to thank all of our participants, Bess Fenton and Elliot Rudner, for contributing those song playthroughs as well as those incredibly kind words that they shared. I want to thank David Stevens for his playthrough as well. I want to thank Dan Amrick, Andrew Levin, and Brian Shu for putting forth their contributions to today's stream with the Lick of the Week, the Look at Tone in Recording, and Dan's Wall of Guitars. I want to thank Ernie Ball for once again providing us with some treats to give out once we are able to do so again. And I want to thank Brian Turner for massaging all of this content together into what we're presenting to you right now. At this moment would be the time that I normally tell you to hit the forums tomorrow for a clue for next week's content, for next week's DLC. I will not be doing that today. Instead, I will tell you tomorrow, make sure you check rocksmith.com/news. A little bit later than the clue would normally go out, probably 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time, for a look at what's coming more generally in the future of Rocksmith. That will be there. We'll post it on all of our social media pages. We'll post it on Twitter. We are at Rocksmith Game on Twitter and Instagram. We are facebook.com/Rocksmith if you want to check there. We'll also be posting about this on our forums. That once more is rocksmith.com, and just look for the links to the forum there. I want to thank you once again for joining us. Thank you for being here and giving us a reason to put this out there to you. And let's take one more look at the Opeth song pack, and we will see you next week. Bye.
I just suspect to see a beloved son in despair of what's to come.
Wait, did I just say I don't need the rest of these guitars? No, I didn't mean that. Do not send me offers for these guitars. They are not for sale, and you are not allowed to come over.
Saturday in Blackwater Park, feeling all the tragedies of man. Okay, that's enough of that.